Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Ben. Ben is from Seattle in the USA. So let's see what Ben has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hello, hey.
Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this morning for the interview. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's morning for me. It's got to be what, afternoon, evening for you?
Yeah, early evening. Yeah.
Okay.
It's dark already in London.
Yeah.
So how was your morning? Sorry, how was your run this morning?
It was good. I live in Seattle, so it was wet.
It was wet.
Yeah. I mean, you live in London, so it's got to be, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, it rains a lot.
Yeah.
So Ben, so tell me, you are originally from Seattle?
No, I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is, so do you know where Chicago is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, it's like 90 minutes north of Chicago.
Okay, and why the change to Seattle?
Oh, that's a long story. But I've moved around a lot in my life, and Seattle is the place that's home for me.
I see. And how long have you been living there for?
On and off since 2008.
Okay. So tell me something interesting about Seattle. Tell me something interesting about the city.
Whew. So one of the things I love about this place is that now I'm going to sound like I'm on the tourist board or whatever, but like the Seattle is a place you are only bored in Seattle if you want to be. Like there are mountain ranges on either side of us. We're on an isthmus, so there's water on both sides. There's one of my favorite things to do in the world is when I get like itchy feet, because I've traveled so much, I get kind of itchy feet and I like want to like get out. And the cheapest thing to do is I go down to the waterfront. There's a ferry. It's a 45-minute ride from Seattle to the Bremerton, which is a naval base town. And so I'll just jump on the ferry and then get off and turn back around and come back to Seattle. It's like an hour and a half, and it's very like refreshing. There's hiking. Like if you're an outdoor person, this is the place to be. So yeah, I'm enthusiastic about Seattle in the way that people who are not from there are. You know.
I see. And tell me, what do you do for a living, for work?
I work in finance for a law firm.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
And before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself?
Interesting about me. I do stand up and improv comedy. I do that because I'm in recovery. I've been sober for 5 years. And I lived in Ireland for a year.
Wow. And why? Why Ireland?
Oh, I went there for drawing and painting. Then I broke my hand and it became photography, which changed the course of my life, actually.
Oh my God, that's interesting. Wow. And when was that? You lived in Ireland? It's been a while?
Oh, they weren't using the euro. That's how long it's been.
Amazing. Ben, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Sure.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? From the fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay? Let's do it. Okay, Ben from Seattle. So before we start the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, how would you describe a perfect, healthy relationship?
I don't know. I've never had one. I don't even know that I've seen one modeled that wasn't on TV.
That's interesting. But
I don't know.
It's a choice, or you never. It just never happens.
Just never really happened. I mean, my grandparents were a fairly. They had a healthy relationship. That was probably the last one that I've seen in my life. So, I mean, yeah. No, I guess I know one or two people that have like really healthy relationships. Come to think about it, but my friend, her grandparents, she said that, and I've never forgotten this. Her grandparents could look across the room at each other, glance at each other, and have an entire conversation. And that's always been something where that I've aspired to.
Wow. But even though you've never been in a relationship, but when you think about a relationship, when you think, okay, I would like to have a relationship this way, what for you would be, let's say, not a perfect, but a relationship that would you like to be into it?
I mean, if we're going down like the list, like if we're talking ideal, right? Like golden ideal, platonic, whatever, like someone who makes me laugh, someone who can intellectually challenge me and who can be supportive of me, because that's what I tried to be for other people, right? So, I mean, I've dated people that like it started out equal and then it went unequal, and then but I mean, just you want someone who's a partner, right? You don't want you want someone that can keep up their half. Like if I'm if I need something to be taken care of, or they need something to be taken care of, then we both know and trust that the other person can do that. Which sounds a little sociopathic, but like just someone that can challenge you and comfort you at the same time as being your partner and things.
Amazing. That's what I believe as well.
That's what we're all striving for, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think relationship, it's a maintenance every single day. There's gonna have up and downs, and sometimes you're gonna feel the happiest person. The other day you're gonna feel like insecure. The other day you're gonna feel like don't know it's the right decision. So I think it's a maintenance every single day. But I think the longer it goes, I think you answer those questions in a way it comes along.
Yeah, I mean, you grow together. That's the ideal, right?
That's the thing. Next one. Let's do it. Okay, next question for you is, if you could be in somebody's place, or somebody's skin for 24 hours, who that would be and why?
That is a great question. I don't know, actually. The thing is like, I'm in my 40s and I've spent my entire life just trying to be comfortable in my own skin. So I mean, when I was younger, that question might have been easier to answer, but now I don't know that I have the answer to that question, to be completely honest with you.
That's an answer. If you don't have an answer, that's already an answer for the question. And so tell me a little bit about the as you said, about being comfortable on your own skin. Tell me a little bit the journey. What was the ups and downs about you get comfortable with your own skin?
So I was kind of a heavy set kid, and you start to like, you get older and then you thin out, but you're never, if you're a heavy set kid, you're always a heavy set kid. Even if you're like a beanpole in your teens, you're still a heavy set kid in your head, right? And that followed me along. And then of course I'm gay, so like garden variety body dysmorphia kicks in, right? We all have that. That's nothing special. But then I moved to Los Angeles in my 20s, late 20s, and I got involved with drugs, and because I hated myself, I hated my body, I hated everything about myself. So I was susceptible to those kind of things. So then years go by, and I got sober, and I was like, okay, well, so I believe that addiction is a symptom of an underlying illness, right? Once you deal with the underlying illness, the symptom goes away, and I found that to be mostly true. Now, for myself, I can't speak for other people, but I will say that like I learned to the thing that's the lack of self-respect, lack of self-esteem, the lack of self-love was something that was made me susceptible to those kind of things. So I spent a lot of years working with a really great psychologist to be happy with who I was and to learn like, you know, my faults. And my friend sent me this thing. It was like a Facebook meme. And it was 10 rules for being human. And it was just silly stuff. But there was one that like the second rule was you get one body. You may like it, you may hate it, but you get one body for the duration of your stay. And it just hit me at the right time. It was the right words at the right time. And I was like, oh, okay. So like when I got sober, I ballooned up to like 280. And I'm 6'1". So like I was a big guy. And I was like, okay, like I need to be comfortable. So I got comfortable in my 200 when I was 200. And then as I've gotten thinner, like I'm changing those things because it's healthy, not because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I like getting laid. I'm a guy, but like, and that's easier to do. I feel when your version of yourself in your head lines up with what you externally look like. Right. And everybody likes thirst trap pictures, but yeah, I just, it's taken me a long time to become comfortable with who I am, no matter what my size. You know what I mean?
Totally. And I think with this, it comes with time as well. And as you said, sometimes little things can wake us up. Like you said, about this little phrase just kind of hits you in the right time. You know what I mean? So it's,
Yeah.
that's the process. And those messages sometimes comes along, and sometimes you're not ready to get the message, but sometimes it comes, as you said, literally in the right time. There you kind of wake up a little bit.
Yeah, when you're ready to hear it, you hear it, right?
Cool. Next one, let's do it.
Okay.
Before the next question, Ben, tell me what do you like the most about your job, and also what's the most challenging part?
The most challenging part is that I'm working basically in accounting, and I went to school for illustration and graphic design. I specifically went to art school so that I wouldn't have to do math. Okay. Like, so that's, but ironically enough, I sort of fell into finance much later, like in life. And it turns out that like, I'm just OCD enough that being able to tie out numbers gives me that little bit of like satisfaction that I didn't realize I had that much OCD in my life, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, surprise. Like, like you just have to go to the calculator and understand formulas, just plugging stuff in. It's not that hard. It's not quantum physics, right? So concrete math has always been easier for me. So like it's challenging to like learn the formulas and sort of feel like, oh, hey, I can do this. But once I got past that, what I like about my job, I specifically like where I work. I work for a law firm in the Pacific Northwest, which means that like people are amazing. They're very supportive. They give you like we get a week off between Christmas and New Year's. There's a whole, just they give a whole week. So the benefits of working corporate life here in Seattle are amazing. That's one thing I will say about the West Coast. I like working in the Midwest is a much different thing. My boss, I joke around that his style is benign neglect, because he hired you to do the job. You're an adult, do the job or don't do the job. That's the thing. Like he doesn't have to look over your shoulder because you're an adult. I've worked for so many micromanagers that it took a while to deprogram, So, I mean, I get enough rope to hang myself, obviously, but like I get enough rope to like do the things I need to do in the order I need to do them in without someone looking over my shoulder. So I would say that's very specific to where I work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I see. All right. Next question is, if you could stay any age for the rest of your life, what age would that would be and why?
28.
Tell me why.
Well, because by 28, you're like, you've kind of grown into like roughly who you're going to be, right? After 20, like anything before 25, you're still growing and learning. And I mean, you're always learning and growing, but I think like 28, you're like just at the edge of your 20s. So like, hopefully you've made all of your stupid mistakes, or at least most of them, and you're like settling in for your 30s. You know what I mean? Like, and like your body's at the point where your metabolism is still decent, but it's not like, you know, I mean, you can still eat pizza, but maybe once a week instead of every day. You know what I mean? But you're old enough that like you look like you're an adult. You're the adult that you're going to be, right? It's all decay from there on in.
Aging for you is something that bothers you, or you're okay, just numbers?
Oh, it used to terrify me. I spent a lot of years trying not to. But so I'm 46. When I was growing up, like when I was coming out of the closet, there weren't a lot of old gay guys because most of them, you know, obviously we all know why, right? And I'm of the first generation of gay men that are getting to the point where we're old now. Like we're older, and so like it's our job to figure out what being old looks like. What does getting older as a gay man look like? And I'm glad that I have the opportunity to see people around me modeling good behavior. I mean, there's a lot of toxicity about ageism, and that's just nature of the beast. And I would hope that over the years those get better. I live in Seattle, and one of the things I love here is there's somebody for everybody. There is, if you're older, like there's somebody for you. If you're heavier, there's somebody for you. There is, I mean, I live in a city full of a lot of gay men, so there's always somebody for somebody. You know what I mean? You live in London, for God's sake. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think there are different. You know, I think our community, there's always someone that's, you know, you can connect with somehow. You know, there's always a place or people or areas that you can feel yourself. You can just behave the way you are, express the way you are. So I totally understand you mean.
Right. I mean, the thing is that we get to create, like we're very lucky. Like, I don't know what age you are. I'm assuming we're not very far off in age. I won't ask you directly because I'm a gentleman.
You can ask me.
Okay. Well, how old are you?
First, tell me how old you think I am.
Oh, no. I don't play that game. I do not play that game because
I don't take personally. I love it. I had haircut. I had haircut today, so I just got my, you know, some of my gray, but I still have my gray beard. So tell me.
Okay, so if you have a little bit of gray in your beard, I would say you're at least 42.
Okay.
So yeah. If nothing else, if nothing else, you're internet 42. A Grindr 42.
I will tell you now. I just hit 40 years old last year.
Sorry, what?
So I'm 40. I just turned 40.
Okay, so now I'm tall. See, this is why I didn't want to do that.
Of course not. Of course not. Through my life, actually, always people, they always said, they always gave my older than I am. And I understand, I think about maturity. I started living my own since I was 18 years old. I think when you have this maturity, you know, it gives you a older, but for me, age it's fine. When people give me, like you said, 42 or 43, it's totally fine. I totally, age for me is beautiful. I like age. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sign of, you know, yeah.
Well, somebody actually said that I don't mind getting older because there's so many other people that didn't get the chance.
There you go. And I must tell you something now. When you said that you are 46, I couldn't believe. I thought you were much younger than that.
Oh, emotional immaturity goes a very long way, my friend.
I'll tell you, I would give you 38, 36, more or less. 36, 38, I would give you.
Oh, bless you. Absolutely bless you. The only reason I said 42 because I figured you were in your 40s if you had gray in your beard, because that's a 40s thing.
Okay.
To be fair.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But I mean, well, so welcome to your 40s. The thing is that like there's so many other people that are gay and in their 40s, and we're all trying to figure out what that means and what that looks like. Now there were gay men in their 40s when I was coming out in my 20s, or well, I came out at 19. But like there's so many people that now there's so many of us, we can create a culture around it, which is
Uh-huh.
amazing.
I love it. I love it. I think I never had problem with aging. I never had problem with my age. I always find the beauty of every age that I am. Always, for some reason. So
Yeah, the
yeah.
trick is that no, the guys I'm usually attracted to are younger than I am. I mean, not like ridiculously younger, but younger than me, which means that like I'm always a little bit self-conscious about my age, but I've also, like I said, learned to be comfortable in my skin. Like this is what I'm like, try to age gracefully, right? Like well,
Mhm.
but gracefully, Maggie Smith.
Yeah. Ooh. 3 questions left for you. Let's do it.
Oh.
Before the next question, tell me a little bit about your career as a comedian.
Oh, okay. So I when I got sober, I was like, well, what the am I gonna do now? I don't know if I can swear or not.
I'll put the beep.
Okay, I swear like a sailor normally. I'm very well behaved right now. No, I was like, well, what do I do with my life now? And I figured there was a lot of trauma that was associated with that time. Like I used for a very long time. I had been in a very toxic relationship for like 5 years, and I'd been homeless for a little while, and I just needed to do something. I needed a way to process those emotions and those experiences. So I just started writing jokes because I was living in Las Vegas and basically trying to kill myself, and came perilously close. And then my best friend who lived in Wisconsin was like, you need to come home and reset. And he'd been telling me this for years, been trying to sell me this. I'm like, no, I don't want to move back to Wisconsin. That's moving backwards. And then I was like, you know what? I think it's time. So I moved back to Wisconsin. I lived with him for a while, and I've known him since we were 4 years old. He's family. He's my best friend. He's nobody knows me the way he does,
Wow.
and vice versa. And I joke around that I left a piece of my soul with him, just on loan, that I could get back when I. But he and I have a very easy relationship. So I would talk to him and I would just say stuff, and he would laugh really hard. He's like, "That's really funny," and he's like, "You keep being funny about when you're talking about these experiences, because that's the only way I know how to process them. I have a really dark sense of humor." He's like, "Go do that. Like, go be funny with other people." And so he kind of pushed me, and I started doing it. And yeah, I'll give you an example. So one of my jokes is I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the way that I figured out I was gay is I realized that I was attracted to Jeffrey Dahmer. And this is the part in the audience where everyone's like, "Ooh," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I felt exactly the same way. It was years before I came out of the freezer." Yeah, there is darker than that, but that's the entry level dark. So, and then I moved to Milwaukee, and they have a really vibrant open mic scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. I just kept doing it, and then I started doing improv, and improv's kind of my true love. But I like stand up as well. Any opportunity to stand in front of a bunch of people and make an ass of myself is my safe space.
You know what? And the tone of your voice is very, as an artist, is like, as soon as you start talking, I was like, oh, wow, I'm sure he works with his voice, or or singer, or acting, or, I had this feeling as soon as you start talking.
Oh, okay.
You are, okay.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know. My enthusiasm makes up for my lack of talent when it comes to singing. But other than that, yeah.
Right. Next question for you is, what is the most difficult thing have you ever done?
I mean, the gimme on that is going to be sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
So I used meth for 12 years. I was intravenous drug user, so getting sober was really hard. It took a very long time of trying and trying and trying. And I mean, I literally pushed myself to the point where I was almost dying. And I was like, okay, it's time to, because I like to push things to the very edge. You know what I mean? Like, I like to see where that edge is, including with my very existence, apparently. And so, yeah, that was, coming back from that was probably the hardest thing to do, because I started at 28, I stopped at 40. Well, when you're using drugs, you don't really grow as a person so much. You just sort of, it's like celebrity. You're locked into where you were when you started. So I was 28 for a very long time. And then suddenly I get sober and I'm back in the world and I'm a citizen again. And I'm 40 with the body of a 40-year-old, right? Like, it's not 28 anymore. You can't eat pizza every day. Like, you can't, like, those things don't, just nothing is the same anymore. The world has moved on and you've stayed the same. So, like, just, my best friend said something to me I'll never forget. And I know a lot of people, I still have friends here that are in and out of sobriety, and I try to be really helpful and give them good advice. And the best advice I've ever been given was my best friend. He said, patience and daily action, which is the 4 most amazing words in an order have ever been said to me. And it is the key to everything I've done since then. You know what I mean? I went from being homeless to working a job and having my own place and all of the things, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very, very, very lucky that I had a support system. There were people that could give me space to grow, and like, not everybody gets that, and I'm very aware of that. But yeah, clawing back to where I left off was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, honestly.
Oh. Thanks so much for talking so open about that event in your life. I think you'll be helping people out there, watching this interview right now, and just see someone talking so open. It's always a positive thing. So thank you.
Oh yeah, ask any addict; they'll always tell you. ask every comedian. Every 4th comedian is a recovering addict. So,
oh my God, I don't believe you said that.
It's true.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Next question is, hey, if I would ask your best friend right now to define yourself in 1 positive word and 1 negative word, what your best friend would say?
I would hope he would say resilient. Because of, like, well, actually, I'm pretty sure he would say resilient. And the reason that is because he once said to me, the thing that I took is the best compliment ever. He said, I could drop you off in the middle of any city in the world, come back in 2 weeks and you'd have a life. Because I've moved so many times in my life. I've moved, and honestly, like, I've traveled around and been to different places, and being a gay man opens up so many doors, right? Like, when I used to travel, when I lived in Ireland in my 20s. I was 21, and went to, like, from there, it's a great base to jump off of. So you go to London, you go to Paris, you go to these different places, and you go to the gay bar, you meet somebody, may or may not go home with them, but, like, you're having breakfast with them the next day, one way or another, and they show you the city that they live in, and you're like, you don't go to do the tourist traps. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that. I'm not saying like sex tourism is the way to go, but like, we have this amazing resource, and so yeah, like I because of that, I'm able to pretty much establish myself wherever I go. The downside, the bad side would be that I overthink everything.
Wow. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like like it's a lifelong habit that we all try to break, right? Being, and that's the thing about improv. Being in the moment is the whole point. It's the whole thing. It's the whole ball game.
Absolutely. Ready for the last one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Last question. For the last question, tell me, so open about, you're being sober for 5 years right now. Tell me, when was the moment that you thought, okay, it's time for me to start a new journey? Did something happen?
I was in the hospital in Las Vegas, and I was sick, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. I found out later that my immune system was crashing, essentially. My CD4 count was 25. So if I had stayed in Vegas another month or two, I would have been dead. And I feel like there was a part of me that understood that intuitively and was like, okay, it's time. You know what I mean? Like, I moved to Vegas to get away from Seattle because I had been in a very toxic relationship. We both used drugs. We were both really damaged people in a really bad place in our lives, and we just made it worse for each other. It was just a bad relationship that went on for way too long. Mm-hmm. And I needed to get away. So I went to Las Vegas to get away from it and to start over again. And I just kind of lost faith and lost the will to live. And so I just basically kept using and kept pushing myself. And I wanted to die. There's a part of me that wanted to die. And I came very close. And then I was like, is this something that I want? And the answer was no, as it turns out. So, yeah, that's, sorry, that doesn't mean hasn't exactly probably been the most bright and chipper of your
Of course not. I had so many people talking about the same topic. It's very open like you. And actually, as I said, I think, again, the whole thing about the show is not about being judged. It's not about bringing negativity or positivity. It's all about you expressing yourself, being your true self. And if you're feeling comfortable to talk about anything, why not? So I think that's, and I'm sure you feel comfortable because you are in a good place, a better place right now. So yeah, don't worry about that. I think, again, I'm going to repeat, you helped so many people right now just talking about that. That's what life is about. And people appreciate that for sure. That's what I believe. Last question for you is, which book had a big influence on you?
That is a very good question. Can I give you three?
Yes, you can.
I would say Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. Mm-hmm. Because it honestly, I know Orson Scott Card is problematic, and I have my issues with him, but he is a good science fiction writer. Say what you will about it. And Ender's Game, I read it in high school, and it was one of those books that just it was amazing. But also, at the heart of the book is about how to relate to people. Mm-hmm. He does a really good job of sort of deconstructing the way that interpersonal interactions, and in a way that I had a lot of trouble with when I was younger. And so he sort of gave me a roadmap on how to deal with people and it's couched in a sort of militaristic sort of, manner, but excuse me, but the lessons hold all across, I worked in early childhood education for a little bit in college, and all the lessons I learned for dealing with special needs children work on adults. So it was the foundation of learning how to have good interpersonal skills. My Name is Asher Lev by Chaim Potok, who's a Orthodox Jewish writer. My Name is Asher Lev is about a little Orthodox boy who discovers that he's an artist. And so against the wishes of his family, he becomes an artist, and it changes the way he interacts with this community. And it's a lesson in, there are some people who need to be creative. It is their lifeblood. I joke around that some people in the world need to be creative, and if they're not, it kills them. Like there are people who would rather like redraw Guernica in toothpaste on a wall before like not being able to create. You know what I mean? So like it was one of those things that really resonated with me, like that whole like be creative, find a way to create, because if it's in your soul, it's in your soul. You can't do anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one would be The Android's Dream by John Scalzi. And John Scalzi it's science fiction, but it's really fun, and it told like I'm also a writer, so like I'm working on science fiction. I actually started reading Lying Evidence, by the way. What's his name? Was it John something? One of your other interviewees. I actually started reading his book.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, there's an author. And I mean, I like what I've read so far, but I guess it told me you can be playful. There's like, you don't have to be serious. Even science fiction doesn't have to be serious. You can be very playful and be you don't have to be funny necessarily, but lighthearted, and approach things from a lighthearted perspective, I guess.
Wow, amazing. Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game.
You're asking for it. All right.
One word for family.
Blood.
Money.
Power.
Love.
Affection.
Sex.
Lube.
Please, yeah. Life. Lube. I'm joking.
Life. I'm thinking too long. This is the thing, being in the moment. I got to be in the moment. Life. Affirmation.
Politics.
Ooh. Anger.
Religion.
Serenity.
Fear.
Politics.
Friendship.
Lifelong.
Desire.
Lube. No. No. Tenderness.
Regrets.
I've had a few. No. There's never a bad Frank Sinatra break, right? No. Regrets. Living.
Success.
Oh. Happiness.
Okay. One word for wish.
What?
Wish.
Wish.
Yeah.
Oh. .com.
Happiness.
Love.
One word for Wisconsin.
One word for Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Cold.
One word for Seattle.
Amazing.
USA.
Ooh. Complicated.
And the last one now, comedian. One word.
Sorry?
One word for comedian, the last one.
Bit.
B.
Bit. Yeah, like a bit, like it's like a bit, like you're doing a
Yes,
bit, like bit.
I got it. Sorry, I got it.
Okay.
Tell me, Ben, what's the best part of being yourself, in your opinion?
Oh. Making people laugh.
There we go.
Laughter is it's my defense mechanism. It's my way of relating with people. I'll give you an example. My stepfather, another one, not the other one, but another one. He and my mom were together for 25 years, and he was like a father to me. I used to call him on Father's Day. We were very close, or we were close enough, you know. And he was a short guy, and so like we used to make height jokes and stuff all the time. And he, after he passed, he was cremated, and my mom had the the box of his ashes, and she decided to sell the house that they had, and she was cleaning the house, and we were getting ready to move, and so she had the ashes by the television set, like on the little stand, right? And she sees the box, and I can see the look in her eyes. Like, I know my mother my entire life. She sees it. She's having an emotional reaction. She's gonna cry. It's gonna be a thing. And she can have those. She has those emotions, and I'm fully supportive of them. But I'm like, my first reaction is to kind of not see her cry. I don't want to see no one wants to see their mother cry, right? Mm-hmm. So she grabs the box and she holds it, and it comes out of my mouth unbidden. I don't have time to stop it. I said, "Well, he's a lot shorter now."
I don't believe you said. Oh my God! I'm sure she couldn't cry after that, for sure.
No. I mean, dark sense of humor is a family trait. So like she got it, and it wasn't meant to be disrespectful. Obviously, it was,
of course,
just meant to be. He probably would have laughed at it as well, because he also had a dark sense of humor. So
I've got goosebumps now. He might be laughing right now for you being sharing this. Oh, that's so nice. Thanks for sharing. Let's play now, Ben, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Ben, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. I don't know that you've asked this. Well, I don't know if you've answered this question before. But what was the where did you get this idea from? And the second part of that question is, are all of your interviewees gay?
Okay, I'm gonna answer the first part. The idea always, when the world went upside down with the COVID crisis 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 2020, I was already thinking about doing something on YouTube, something that I could connect with people. But I didn't know what. I didn't know what to do. And the first idea was something with music. I would like to do something with music. But of course, you cannot use other people's music on the show. You don't have the rights. Right, so I was thinking about what could I do, and this idea literally came along after a long run in the park. I went for a run in the park, and this idea literally came along, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to do. But saying that, through my life, when I look back, my best friend, they know me very well. I've been doing that for my whole life, as a teenager, as an adult. I remember going on holidays or in vacation with friends. There's always a moment that I'll go like, okay, so tell me now, who was your favorite teacher? Tell me what's the best memory as a child. And when I look back, I've always been doing that. Of course, not in front of the camera, not with people around the world, but it's something that's about me. It's a way of me expressing myself and I connect with people. So that's how I started the idea. The second part of the question, the answer is no, of course not. It's not just gay people. Mostly they are gay people because, you know, I think we like to express the way we are. We are very expressive. We like to, you know, to connect with people. As you said, being gay, it's I don't know. We just like to be somehow to connect with people in a different way. But no, I had a lot of straight people as well. A lot, like trans people, like any kind of people can participate on the show. So actually, I had an interview with a straight guy just 2 days ago, and but yes, it's the majority. They are the LGBTQ community on the show, but it's interesting because when I invite people, the same way I invited you as well, you know. Somehow, you know, you think, okay, let me see what is on. But if I invite a female, they don't reply back because they think I'm trying something, like I have a hint or I'm trying something with them. So most of the females, they don't accept it or they don't even reply to my message because they might think that I'm trying something. They don't know that I'm gay, and you know, I realize that most of the people who reply to my request, they are men. Doesn't matter if they are gay or straight, but somehow it tricked them and they kind of, okay, let me see what it's about. But I realized that some girls, they do reply sometimes, but most of them, they don't. I think they think that I'm just trying to, you know what I mean, to make a conversation or to try something. So yeah, so that's my answer to you.
That's actually fair. That I actually hadn't considered that, but I mean, yeah, Facebook has gotten kind of weird lately. Like, I don't want to brag, but I'm really popular with Russian scammers. So, I have another question. As long as we're here, the magic box. A, is that where you're getting your questions? B, why a magic box? And C, how magic is the box? I mean, is it dark magic or is it light magic? Or are you using necromancy? Like, what's going on there with the magic?
Absolutely. The questions, they're all inside of the magic box. So I just picked the questions here. Of course, they are in front of me, but all of them, they come through the magic box. So that's put this way. Yeah. The magic box was created, actually, the first name of the show, it is funny. I'm not gonna go through because a long story. But the first idea of the show was Anonymous Stars, because my first idea, all of us, we are anonymous, you know what I mean? But we have a story to tell, all of us. So that was my first idea. Long story short, I contact a producer, a friend in Vienna, and he works on TV for 25 years. And so I opened up about the idea before I started the show. And he said to me, okay, I think it sounds a good idea. And he suggested the name Magic Box. He said, why not William and the Magic Box? Because your name, and you know, the show is about magic, it's about people express themselves. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. So that was a suggestion for someone about the Magic Box. And I believe that the Magic Box is a light, is a light place to be, because, you know, it comes from the Magic Box comes a lot of beautiful stories around the world from people. It could be challenging stories, could be negative stories, positive stories, but all of them, they come from a good place. So I believe that the Magic Box, it's a lot of light come from there. Before you go, Ben, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
Like I said, my best friend said to me, patience and daily action. It is literally the best advice that I can give other people. It is the advice that I live by. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to get it as a tattoo on my arm, just because like it is something that you need to remember every day. Little chipping away at something a little bit every day is the most successful way of getting through to getting something, achieving a goal, honestly.
Thanks so much, Ben. Thanks for the interview, and you keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure to have you on the show, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
And you, bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, First, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website www.williamandthemagicbox.com and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.